Good morning, guys. It's now the next morning and we are continuing the project of modifying the Jaguar. As you guys saw already, we did the little side vents and we did the headlights, and I showed you a little bit about these floor mats. We just got back from the car wash, so got it all detailed on the interior. Carpet actually got shampooed, just why I have the doors open. We are moving on to the next biggest portion. So without further ado, let me go ahead and take these out of the box and show you what we're talking. If you can't really tell what this is, these are roof rails. These are the OEM roof rails that these Jaguar F-Paces, or at least some models, come with. I'll take them out of the packaging here in a second. But just to show you where they'll be going, up top, right in here, these are some of the stock, or I should say the non-sporty look roof rails, which there's none. It just matches the color of the vehicle itself. But these are what we're going to be replacing. So those ones that are over there, they're black, and they're designed to be able to mount on a roof rack or a kayak rack, and they're going to actually stick up just slightly, but it's going to be black and it's going to add that sporty silver and black look that I'm going for this vehicle. And of course, with Jaguar, in order to get to these, it's fairly difficult. To kind of real quick go over the summary of what we're going to do, we're going to have to take off the A pillar, B pillar, and C pillar back there. And we're gonna have to get to all the little accessories along the headliner, the overhead console, the visors, and like the handles and things as such. And of course, we're gonna have to drop the headliner. One thing I highly recommend, guys, you get if you do have a Jaguar F-Pace, because they are fairly confusing and not too intuitive, is the service manual. I actually found this online, downloaded it. It was no more than 25 bucks. It's 11,000 pages, everything and anything you can imagine. One thing I don't like about this document is that unfortunately it doesn't have like a table of contents or an index. So I actually had to search over the past couple nights to figure out where the directions for what we need to do today are. Made myself my own little table of contents. We're going to be doing the battery disconnect, overhead console, sun visors, B pillar, C pillar, and headliner, and so on and so forth. So I have those pages bookmarked in here, and we'll just follow the directions in here. So let's get going. First things first is the battery. The battery on these Jaguars is actually in the back, so I actually had to open up the hatch, take out the little top cargo cover, take out the floor covering in the hatch, and of course take out the spare tire and like the excess dunnage in there. When you get all that out, boom, there it is, the battery. So to take off the battery, just like any other battery, just undo this bolt here, which is a 10mm. Take it off, keep it aside, keep it away from everything, and that's it. Real quick, just to go over some of the general tools that I bought from Harbor Freight just to help us out, because we are dealing with the headliner, and with most headliners there's a lot of clips. So I just bought this little plastic trim molding set, tool set. These are just little plastic pry bars, which are designed to obviously help you pry. Wow. But since they're plastic, they're hopefully going to not do any kind of scratches or dents or whatnot. So that's what we got. I recommend that. I have this extra case of clips. I'm not too sure what type of clips this Jag has, but I did have this for my other vehicles. And of course, we got the screwdriver, because I'm going to do everything by hand. I don't want to do it with the drill. And I believe we need some star point sockets. I'll figure out which ones here in a bit, but I'll call out all the tools needed while we're actually doing the disassembly work. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and take out this overhead console right here, which it should just have some clips here on the side. So I'm going to use my little plastic trim tools to go ahead and pop this off, and we'll keep going. Once you guys have this off, there's two connections that you see hanging here that you simply have to unplug, and that's actually it. So we'll set this aside and keep going. So we got to pull back the side trim of the door. Then we're going to pop out this little tab where the airbag is. And at that point, we should just be able to pull out this way and pull up, and there's two clips that should remove this A pillar. Alright guys, I want to give you like a quick tip or a quick hint here. So this is the A pillar, this is the driver's side. So when you're actually taking it off, after you take off that little airbag clip, whatever it is, it just kind of stays in place. In order to get this top part off real easily, there's this clip right here. Well, essentially what you do, I took a small flathead screwdriver. While it's on the vehicle, you actually reach this screwdriver in through that hole. And if you look on the back side, what I'm trying to do is you actually try to reach all the way till you can get to the top of that clip. Then you can kind of bend it and push it out of the way. And once you push that down and out of the way, it allows this to pop off. Hopefully you can kind of see right in there. Right to that left side is where you're trying to push that clip from this way to this way. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and take off the visor itself. So first things first, there's a little clip right here which covers 2 screws. So we'll use this guy to go ahead and pop this off. There you go, there's 2. And there we go. Just take the little clip off and set that aside. And now we have access to these 2 screws right here. So these 2 screws inside the visor mount are a T27, the little star bit. So we'll go ahead and take that off. Okay, so we got these out now. So you want to be careful when you're removing this, because there's a connector on the back side which you actually have to access from the front, and there's a little piece of tape on it. There you go, got that. So now you kind of wiggle it a little bit. Now that I got that little piece of tape removed from the back side, there's 2 little clips that you got to push in like this, which will let this drop out. There's 1 and there's 2. Take out the little clip. There's a little clip. So then you get back and you disconnect the little clip, and there's your visor. And on this side, it's just a little pop off again. Use your little clip tool to open up the little hole. There you go. And we got another small T-bolt, T-screw. The little one on this side is actually a T25. Put that in there and you'll take that off. Alright, so now you move on to these guys. You simply just pull down the little flap here, which lets you get access to the screw holes. And it's actually the same T27 again. So you'll simply unbolt those and this will come off. They pull out real easy. So then you're going to do that for the back ones on all 4 sides, back to the front. So I'll talk to you guys when we get back to that little one back there. And guys, for this back one here, I found it easiest to access it from the back of the trunk. But it's simply just flip that little guy up there, and if you can see inside there, there's the screw in the middle, and it's just the T25, so nothing special. So we'll go ahead and remove that on that side, and we'll go on from there. For the B pillars, it's actually very simple. You just gotta actually just put a little bit of elbow grease into it, but they're simply held on by just like plastic clips. So you pull back the door trim on both sides of the rear door and the front door, so you can get a good grip around the back side. And here at the bottom, you actually just give it a good tug 1 or 2 times, and you'll feel it pop out. And then simply once you have that bottom part popped out, the top part just simply slides down, just like that. Just to show you what it looks like on the back side, these are those little plastic clips I was telling you about. They just nearly fit right into these little holes here. So just give them a good tug. Don't worry, you won't break it as long as you got a good grip on it. And that comes out and just pull down. So we moved our way to the back, and now we're going to be tackling this C-pillar here, which is actually 2 pieces essentially. So there's only a couple things you got to pay attention to the most, which first things first is this screw right here. It's nonetheless just the same T25, so you'll remove that screw. That's the first thing you want to do. Once you have that part off, this whole black piece right here actually should just be able to pop off. You just got to pull it directly towards you. I'm actually going to pull off this little trim here just a little bit to get my hands behind it. There we go. Boom. For this one, there's one little clip on the back, which is just this little cargo lamp right there. Simply unclip it and you're good to go. Now we got to get this top part off, and there's only really one location which requires you to do something other than pull. Similar to the A-pillar, just behind that thing. You're going to pop that little clip off. You're going to take your small flathead screwdriver. There'll be the same little clip like I showed you, which you got to fish in there and push the clip aside and pull back. Other than that, there's probably about another 10 or so clips, which are all just pull type. So we get that off, then everything else should come off at once. So now that I got that front clip off, we should be able to now just start tugging on the rest. So since we're already on this side, I'll go ahead and try to give it a tug from here. Alright, that was simple. So I went ahead and pulled it off. I actually had to pull back the back weather stripping just a little bit to get my fingers underneath the back to grab this back side here. Hopefully you guys can see. Well, just like the service manual said, all these little purple things are clips, which it took a little bit of effort to pull them out. But nonetheless, they all just pull out of little holes just like that. here and there, and then some up on the window. So we'll go ahead and move on to the passenger side, and we'll go from there. Okay, we finally got all the pillars off, which is the A pillar way up in the front, the B pillar in the middle, and the C pillar on the back side, as well as all the little necessary clips here on the top. So now finally it's time for the headliner. So I can't really get a good angle of all the headliner, so I'm gonna keep you guys here in the back and we'll do a time lapse. I'm pretty much just gonna go ahead and take the rest of this off. There's gonna be a few clips, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some pictures up from the service manual so you guys can see what exactly I'm pulling off around the top. But nonetheless, I'm gonna show you guys from back here and we'll do a time lapse. Alright guys, so we finally got the headliner dropped. I actually just supported the front because I didn't want to take it all the way out, but I supported the front with a little zip tie there. And back side, as you can see, it's just resting on the back passenger seats. So now we finally made it to the point where we're going to uninstall the roof rails, which are up on the top here. See if I can get you a better angle. Matter of fact, hopefully you guys can see, but right up there, just behind the airbag, there's one of the bolts. There's a total of 5 on each side, so we'll go ahead and take those off. I'll show you a picture of the manual just so you can see where they're located in general, and that's how we'll pull off the top. And just for reference guys, those 5 bolts which you saw in that picture from the manual, they're a 15 millimeter. So what I went ahead and did was get a extension, about a 1 foot extension, just so I can reach behind the headliner, go up there and remove them.
A few minutes later.
So I got 4 of the 5 bolts. However, that 5th bolt, I couldn't find it at first, and I finally did. So this airbag bracket, this black one here, which is held on by what looks like one star screw here and then another one here, and as well as this little guy here, another star. That access port, which is just like these little holes here, is actually right behind here. You're gonna have to take this off and put it back on in order to access the bolt. Now I can actually reach in there. I only had to remove those front 2 screws I showed you, and it gave me enough play in the bracket to just fish the socket behind there. So now I can reach that 5th bolt and get it off. So I'm gonna do that now. Now for the moment of truth. We got all 5 bolts off, and like I said, this is the rail we're talking about. Kind of already pulled up on it earlier, and coming right out. On the last part, you just gotta pull up and then pull forward to the front of the vehicle. And there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off this trim, and look at that. There it is. So now that you got a better view of what I'm talking about, this is the regular one, which is just a silver trim, and now we got the rail racks, which we're about to put right on. There we go. Hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm looking at right now. I'll try to walk around the vehicle to show you. So this is what it looks like from the side without the rails on there. Of course it's silver and doesn't stick up at all. And you can now see, here's the rails. So they stick up, they add that black accent. I think it gives it a more of an aggressive look, coordinates with all the other black that's on the vehicle. And yeah, I like the way it just continues from there all the way into the windshield and all the way down. I'm gonna go ahead and get going on the reversal of torquing this side, and I'll do that other side off camera, but I'll show you just how we do this in reverse and give you the torque values. So I went ahead and screwed back in all 5 bolts just hand tight, and this is the last thing I was doing right here up in the front passenger side. In order to torque these guys back in, these are rated for 30 Newton meters, which when you do the conversion from Newton meters to foot pounds, it's just about 22 foot pounds, a little bit over. So I aimed for about 23. So we went ahead and got it done. We have both of the new rails on, and it looks great. I love it. From the front of the vehicle, you can see now that it's got the black trim that looks like it continues all the way from the window all the way up to the back, and it just looks great. So now comes the fun part, pretty much putting everything back together. We'll do a time lapse just so you can kind of see what is going on. Alright guys, and just like that, we are done. As you can see, we got the rails on. That was the last thing we just put on. They're nice and secure and ready for any type of bike wreck or something. But like I said before, I wanted them because of the looks, going for that black and silver look. So we're starting to make this thing get going, and it's starting to look beautiful. And there's a few more things that we'll do probably eventually. Of course, the wheels, got to get black wheels, and probably just black out these guys here, which is the chrome trim, just to continue once again with that black and silver look. And just like that guys, we are done for today's video. We finished up the Jag and it looks great. But I'm going to get inside because I am hot, sweaty, and sticky because it's extremely hot out here in this garage. But nonetheless, if this is your first time at the channel guys, as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have plenty of videos to come for the Jag, for the Fusion, for the truck, for all kinds of other goodies as well. So you don't want to miss out on all the action. But thank you guys once again for watching. You're watching Everything Avron. I'm Avron. I'll see you on the next one.